Good morning, everyone. Today we are going to discuss about the Sale of Goods Act 1930. This is another act in your syllabus. So I'm sharing the screen now. I hope my screen is visible to you all. The Sale of Goods Act 1930. So under Sale of Goods Act, we have to go through that what is the definition of sale, how the sale is important, and how sale occurs in a marketplace. So when it comes to the Sale of Goods Act, in the previous session or in the previous lectures, you have seen that earlier this act was the part of the Indian Contract Act 1872. And when it comes to the Sale of Goods Act, it is basically talk about the goods which form the subject matter of the contract of sale. So goods form the subject matter of contract of sale. Means to say, if there will be no good, no sale or contract of sale will be happen between two or more parties. So goods needs to be there. A good is important when it comes to the contract of sale. So basically in this definition, you will understand what do you mean by contract of sale, and then further you need to understand that what is good, the definition of goods, who is the buyer, who is the seller. These all are important aspects of the contract of sale. According to the Sale of Goods Act 1930, a contract where the seller transfer or agree to transfer the property in goods to the buyer for a price. So what are the aspects important are there must be a seller, there must be a buyer, and whatever exchange is happening for a price between the buyer and seller is because of the goods. Goods means the product which can be transferred from one person to another. If you understand, basically the ownership will be transferred from the seller to the buyer under this contract of sale. Then who is a buyer? Buyer means a person who buy or agree to buy. Means to say, in all contract of sale, actually the goods not or the goods, the ownership of the goods not transfer with immediate effect. In many cases, the good will transfer on a future date. Whenever you are purchasing online, it means that product will be delivered to you on a future date. Whether you have paid the price or you will pay the price at the time of the delivery. So there are the goods. That's why someone is a buyer or someone is a seller. So goods become the subject matter in a contract of sale. There must be a buyer, there must be a seller. And if there is a buyer, there is a seller, they will exchange the ownership of the goods for what? For a price. For a price is important, reason being that someone gift any good to someone, this is not the contract of sale because the exchange is not happened for a price. So for a price is important here. So seller, buyer, goods, contract of seller, price. These all are important aspects. Now what you can see, the essential elements of the contract of sale means what there must be two parties. Which two parties? One is seller or one is buyer. Then transfer or agreement to transfer the ownership of the goods. What I have said earlier, the ownership of the goods will be transferred from one person to another. And that's why goods become the subject matter of contract of sale. If goods will not there, the contract of sale will not develop between the party, because if goods will not there, no one will be seller, no one will be buyer, and if there will be no seller, no buyer, no goods, then how the contract of sale can be developed? The consideration is price. What I have said, for a price is important. Then a contract of sale may be absolute or conditional. means to say immediately the product has been transferred one person to another, or if you are delivering the product, might some portion has been delivered today and the remaining will be delivered on a future date. So basically, when we talk about the exchange of the good, the transfer of the ownership from one person to another, what we say, it can happen immediately or it will happen on any future date. And all other essentials of a valid contract must be present, reason being that the competency of the party, the lawful object, the lawful consideration, there should be free and genuine consent of the party. This all should be there when we are developing a contract of sale. So these are the essential elements of the contract of sale. Then there are two words. One is sell and another is agreement to sell. What is the difference between sell and agreement to sell? In the sale, what you can sell, ownership in the goods is transferred by the seller to the buyer immediately. In a sale, the ownership is transferred immediately. But in agreement to sell, the party are just agreed to exchange the ownership, but yet the ownership will be not yet transferred, or you can say it will transfer on any future date. So what I'm telling, in case of sell, the goods has been transferred from one person to another. That is called seller to buyer. But in case of agreement to sell, the ownership of the goods will be transferred for any future date. If you have ordered something from Amazon, you will receive on a future date. So in this case, it happens the agreement to sell. But yet, when you went to a shop and you have purchased a pen, paid the price, the ownership has been transferred immediately from the seller to the buyer. This is all the execution or the transfer of the ownership from one person to another. That is called seller to buyer. Now, why sale is known as executed? Executed means the ownership has been transferred. And agreement to sell is executory. Reason being that it will happen on any future date. Now you can see here that these are the things where it is mentioned that in case of loss, who will take care of the loss? That borne by the seller or borne by the buyer. Now you can see there are types of goods. Three types of goods are there. One is existing, another is future, and another is contingent. What you can say, in case of existing goods, there are two types. One is a specific or another is generic. In your room where you are sitting, you can see there are many things in your surrounding, like pen, copy, your phone, your laptop, earphones, table, chair, beds, many things are in your room. These are the examples of existing goods. Those goods which are existing and at the time of you are going to purchase. You can check it, you can check by your own, you can verify that what is shown and what I can purchase. So in this, if you are going to purchase a pen in the market, take the same example. There are many options of the pen in the market, so that all options becomes the generic goods for you. But when you decide that I'll choose or I'll purchase the cello pen, blue color, for ₹10, that becomes the specific. So out of many generic goods, you have chosen a specific good. So this is the difference between generic and specific good. If you are going to purchase a water bottle in the market, there are many options of the water bottle in the market. So that all options become generic good for you. And when you have decided to purchase cello 1000 liter, 1000 ml bottle for you, and that become the specific good for you. So people, when you are going to purchase the goods, the first option is existing goods, means those goods we are existing at the time of the formation of the contract of sale. Means to say the buyer can verify, the buyer can identify, and then buyer can choose the specific goods to purchase. Now, in general or specific. If you are going to purchase a mobile phone in general, there are many options to be there in the shop, but you will choose one that becomes the specific. Now come to the future goods. Future goods means that good are not existing at the time of formation of contract of sale. It means the good will be manufactured or produced on a future date. That good is not existing at the time of formation of contract. When it comes to contingent goods means those acquisition depends on the contingency that will may or may not happen. If someone is selling first take the example of future goods. If you want some piece of chairs, the seller has shown you the sample of the chair, but the chairs will be produced on a future date. The chair will be manufactured on a future date, and then the chair will be delivered to you. It is the example of future goods. When it comes to contingent goods, what you can see, if someone want to purchase the basmati rice, in the case what happened, if the quality of the basmati rice will dependent over that the quality of the rain will happen in this particular year. So the production, the happening, or this all will depend over a contingency. If you are going to deal with someone to purchase the eggs daily, you want some sort of eggs. So in the case, the acquisition of the egg will depend of certain contingency. It may or may not happen. In the case, you cannot sue to the party, reason being that this is not in the control, or this is beyond the control of the seller or the another party in the process. So there are three types of good. One is existing, another is future, and the third is contingent. Existing means what? That good exists at the time of formation of contract of sale. Future means the good will be produced and manufactured in any future date. And what do you mean by contingent? Contingent means which may or may not happen. The good will be produced or not produced, that all depending over a contingency or a situation. Now, rights and duties of buyer means to say, when you are buyer, this is your duty to check that whether the goods are in good condition, what a price I am paying, I'm getting in return some sort of goods in a good condition or not. You have to examine all details, that if you are not getting the right kind of good, this is your right to reject the good. And there are certain duties which is indulged with the your buyer state of mind. And when you are seller, again it comes to your rights and duties. You need to check. There is one point. Before covering unpaid seller, I want to lay one point, that there is a point caveat emptor. Caveat emptor means let the buyer be aware. Let the buyer be aware means what? You cannot ask, or you cannot someone blame for a mistake. If you are purchasing some goods, if you are paying a price, this is your duty to check or verify that what I am purchasing, if the good is in good condition or not. You cannot sue another party without no reason. No seller is there in the marketplace who will tell you that don't purchase this good, this is bad good, or this is not in good condition. No, this is not the duty of the seller. Yes, the information, providing correct information, this is the duty of a seller. But seller will not tell you the defect of the product. That means the case of caveat emptor means to say, let the buyer be aware. If you are purchasing some goods, this is your responsibility to be aware before paying a price. Thank you. And in another class, I'll be taking the unpaid seller section 45(1). Thank you so much.